Tonight on 2020. Mirror, mirror. It's America's #1 New Year's resolution, losing weight. But how far would you go?
You're sewing a foreign object into somebody's mouth.
The latest diet craze or just crazy? The tongue patch.
My tongue hurts talking about this. I think it's ridiculous.
Hold your tongue. Afraid of the mirror after all those holiday desserts? She went a year without mirrors, even on her wedding day.
I don't get that. In the mirror, I'm a bride.
You look great.
I'll take your word for it.
All to see what she looks like on the inside, not the outside.
By the way, I can see myself in your sunglasses.
Oh, okay.
No mirrors. Plus, don't hate her because she's beautiful.
Open up and say, Melissa.
Her only crime was looking too good.
Fired for being too tempting to her dentist boss.
So you're responsible for your boss who can't control himself.
Too hot to work? Tonight, diets, resolutions, and everything you need to look in the mirror, mirror. Here's David Muir.
You've heard the saying, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Well, 2 days after Christmas and the holiday meals, you might be avoiding the mirror, thinking of those resolutions already. But tonight here, one of the craziest diets we've heard of, one where you literally hold your tongue. Here now, Cecilia Vega.
From the surgical, think liposuction, stomach stapling, and the lap band, to scary, like the cotton ball diet.
I've heard of people eating the cotton balls with the orange juice, and it makes you think you're full, but you're not.
To the downright disgusting. That's not a jar of noodles. It's the main ingredient in the tapeworm diet.
Everybody looks like they want to vomit right
You
now.
dine out, while the parasite dines in your digestive tract. There's seemingly no limit to the lengths people will go to lose it. And if you thought the story we brought you last year about the feeding tube diet was extreme,
I'm down 2 dress sizes.
well, wait until you see this.
I am determined to lose weight.
I'm willing to do anything at this point. I'm so desperate to lose the weight.
These two women are about to have a piece of hard plastic mesh sewn onto their tongues. It will inflict pain if they try to eat any solid food. Marlene Beltran weighs 169 pounds because of her out-of-control appetite.
I get like cravings. Like in the middle of the night, I'll just be like, oh, I want a brownie or I want ice cream. This time I'm just really motivated because I am almost 21 and I do have plans and I want to look my best and feel good.
I love eating everything.
Lysander Lanuza is 200 pounds of all you can eat.
American food, Filipino food, Korean. It's heaven.
Their goal is to each lose 20 pounds in 1 month. Marlene wants to begin dating. Lysander has a bikini and a deadline.
In a month's time, I'll be going to Hawaii. I'll be wearing this bikini and hopefully I'll be looking great.
So this is our patch and we put it right on the interior portion of her tongue.
It's called the tongue patch. Cosmetic surgeon Dr. Nicholas Shigay introduced the procedure in the U.S. 4 years ago after first seeing it done in Latin America.
I thought, this is a good way to help people lose weight quickly.
The first stitch is already in. I'm just going to put 4 knots on it. Make sure it stays in there.
He said the way it works was if you eat solid food, your tongue rolls back and it would cause pain.
Shigay says Lysander is his 81st patient as he pioneers the process here in what is arguably the plastic surgery capital of the country, Southern California. But that's nothing compared to body-conscious Venezuela. One clinic in Caracas has stitched patches on more than 800 tongues.
Is the goal of the tongue patch so that your tongue hurts when you go to swallow food?
It's a pattern interrupt. When patients want to swallow food, they realize, hey, I cannot do that. That's why I have this patch here. So it reminds them.
But you're sewing a foreign object into somebody's mouth. Is that healthy?
Well, it's not unhealthy.
Hey, the surgery is all finished. Wow.
I can't find my tongue.
She'll be able to speak normally in a few hours when the anesthetic wears off. But all that greasy fried food she loves Forget it. It's a strict 800 calorie per day liquid diet of bad shakes and low-cal beverages until the patch is removed in 1 month.
How much weight are you guaranteed to lose with a tongue patch?
I cannot say that you're guaranteed, but an average weight loss is anywhere from 18 to 20 pounds in that 1 month's time.
18 to 20 pounds at a cost of $2,000. Seem hard to swallow? Maybe. Lysander is paying full price, but Dr. Shigay is doing Marlene's procedure for free because we are recording it.
I was told that food gets stuck on the patch too, so even if you want to cheat a little, you get caught because it gets
My
stuck.
tongue hurts talking about this with you.
No, I'm not nervous about the pain or anything. I'm kind of excited.
On the morning of her appointment, Marlene is more concerned about organizing all the clothes she hopes to soon be able to wear.
Okay, so these are all jeans.
Like these are still brand new.
They have the tags on. Did you buy them thinking you were going to fit into these at some
Yeah,
point?
I did, and then once they didn't fit, I was just like, oh, I'll lose the weight and I'll fit into them. That never happened.
You ready? All right. Stick your tongue out for us. Good. Perfect.
Dr. Shigay reminds her that as of now, she's on that same low-calorie liquid diet.
And 3 times a day, you start taking that, okay? And no cheating. Okay, no Twinkies.
After only 10 minutes, the patch is in place.
Good girl. All done.
What's it feel like?
I can't talk.
That seemed pretty easy. It was quick.
You don't feel it.
You don't feel it. Have you ever received any flack from colleagues in the medical community for this?
No, I haven't.
Dr. Shigay, meet Dr. Christine Petty.
I think it's ridiculous.
And Dr. Rob Huizenga.
I think it's a barbaric procedure.
She's also a plastic surgeon.
I could never advise a procedure that would cause a patient pain. Pain is not a good thing for anybody.
Start today.
Better known as Dr. H, he specializes in long-term weight loss, spending 14 seasons as an expert on The Biggest Loser.
This is so primitive an approach. You could hire somebody to hold a gun next to your head and threaten to shoot you every time you eat. You could have somebody with a hammer hit you over the head every time you threaten to have something to eat.
Would you do this on your own body?
I would.
You haven't done it on any of your family members, have you?
Well, so far, no volunteers.
When we come back, what is it like living with a mesh patch stitched to your tongue? 30 days on America's most extreme diet.
And I want a burger really bad, a cheeseburger.
Will one of these women wish they had never done it?
I don't care if it's a bite, I just want a burger.
And will the weight come off? Stay with us. The results may surprise you.
"2020 continues. Once again, Cecilia Vega.
They say no pain, no gain. But this is turning that phrase on its tongue. 2 overweight women who can't control their eating, going to extremes to lose weight fast. A stiff plastic patch stitched right to their tongues will inflict a sharp pain if they try to eat any solid food.
How do you feel?
I feel good. My tongue is all swollen, so I can't talk. It doesn't fit me anymore.
Lysander Lanuza
I'm a sucker for fried tacos.
and Marlene Beltran each hope to drop 20 pounds in 30 days.
After you get this tongue patch, you'll be able to wear these shorts?
Yeah.
Tracking the difficult diet in video diaries along the way. For Lysander, day 1 brings an immediate challenge.
This is what my mom cooks for breakfast, which I obviously can't eat.
Instead,
I'm actually doing my workout right now.
she cheerfully begins the requisite 45-minute daily exercise routine. But Lysander's social life is all about food. And day 1 brings another temptation.
So this is my first dinner out with my friends.
She sips iced tea while her friends gorge on a buffet.
Yummy. So today's Father's Day. This is what we have served at the table.
Barbecue,
Fish. I cannot eat any of that. All I can eat is this. It's just a Diet Pepsi.
So far, so good.
According to their scale, I lost 3 pounds.
But across town, Marlene has a craving for just about everything.
It's crazy because I don't like beans. Never liked them, won't eat them. But today, just looking at my mom eat beans made my mouth water.
By day 5, this food junkie has a bad need for a fix.
Lately, I've been craving an In-N-Out burger, like, really bad. And I want a burger really bad, a cheeseburger. I don't care if it's a bite, I just want a burger.
Somehow, Marlene resists her cravings. Lysander, not so much.
Well, I tried like a piece of popcorn when we were at the movie theater and it hurts, so I'm like, forget it.
The popcorn hurt?
Yeah.
And are you thinking, yes, it's working, I don't want to eat?
No, I'm like, it does work, I can't eat.
Dr. Nicholas Shigay claims the miracle of the tongue patch is that it can act as a jumpstart to lasting weight loss.
It's really a life-changing type of a pattern. And it takes about 30 days to change a habit.
A small patch that can be life-changing.
Life-changing, exactly.
If I could say one thing, it's that the whole concept of jumpstart is absurd.
Weight loss expert Dr. Rob Huizenga points to studies that show how most extreme dieters who lose weight rapidly eventually gain it all back and more.
There's not one scintilla of hope or evidence that putting a patch on your tongue and not being able to eat for a month is going to have any effect on you at 1 year or 2 years or 3 years.
Dr. Shigay's son and partner, Dr. Paul Shigay, did a study that claims 70% of their patients lost an average of 16 pounds and kept it off for 8 months. The American Journal of Cosmetic Surgery has approved his findings for publication. Marlene doesn't need a study to convince her. She's getting all the data she needs from her bathroom scales as the pounds fall away.
My double chin isn't as bad as it used to be. My arms are a lot thinner.
Lysander is also watching the pounds melt away.
So far, probably lost 15, 16 pounds.
I'm getting a lot more attention from guys, which is nice. I'm like, it's attention I'm not used to, so I'm still adjusting to it.
That doesn't hurt, does it?
Finally, Liberation Day.
That's it.
I feel liberating.
Yes, isn't that liberating? Now, that wasn't so bad, huh?
No, you don't even feel it.
The final tally, Marlene loses 18 pounds. Remember those skinny jeans she couldn't wear before?
Now they're kind of big on me.
Lysander loses 23 pounds. And that bikini she wouldn't dare try on before? Aloha, Lysander.
Once they take the patch off, we put them on a boot camp diet. It's a strict diet for another month. And then I prepare them for the regular maintenance diet that they'll stay on for the rest of their lives.
Or not. As hard as it was to live with the tongue patch, will it be even harder to keep the weight off without it?
I was sad the patch was coming off just because I felt like the hard part began. Like, now I'm on my own.
Really, I don't want to go through that again. It was really hard for me. I agree to the fact that it is really an extreme measure of losing weight.
You do think it's extreme?
Yes, I do.
Is it crazy?
Yes, I think it is. I mean, comparable to the other diets that I know, yes, it is.
Clearly, Lysander, who paid $2,000 for her tongue patch, is not nearly as happy as the person who got it for free, Marlene.
It wasn't bad.
Look at you, you're smiling.
I would do it again. Like, it was fun. The tongue patch is kind of addicting. Like, you lose the weight and you see the results fast, so you want more.
And Cecilia tells us that Marlene has maintained her weight loss and that Lysander has lost an additional 12 pounds. So the question for you tonight, would you undergo the tongue patch? Don't hold your tongue. Tweet me what you think. Use the hashtag ABC2020, and we'll be right back.
Next, fired for being too tempting to her dentist boss.
This was a woman who did nothing to get herself fired, except bring her breasts to work.
So is he happy when we try to track him down?
After all those holiday desserts, perhaps the dentist is now in your future. But what happens when that dentist isn't focused on your teeth, but the dental assistant across from him? Here's Paula Ferris.
Well, the cat's out of the bag. The beautiful get all the breaks. The pretty get all the perks. And the gorgeous get all the gigs.
Look at the waitresses.
Yeah? It really ticked off Elaine in this classic Seinfeld episode when she thought this diner would only hire well-endowed waitresses.
You know what? That's discriminatory.
Turns out it wasn't lookism, it was nepotism.
They're my daughters.
But beauty bias can cut both ways.
I'm Melissa Nelson. I was fired because my boss thought I was too attractive.
Which brings us to Fort Dodge, Iowa, and their fields of opportunities. America's heartland for some twisted matters of the heart.
All she ever wanted to do was be a dental assistant.
Steve is Melissa's high school sweetheart. They're married with 2 young children.
She wanted to work for Dr. Knight's office, so she job shadowed there. She got a job there, and everything fell into place. She loved her job.
34-year-old Melissa was the dental assistant for Dr. James Knight. By the dentist's side, 8 hours a day for a decade.
It was a fun working environment.
How did you view Dr. Knight?
I viewed him as a father figure, as a dad.
He was your mentor, right?
Very much so.
How close did the two of you get?
When we had both of our kids, his family came and visited him in the hospital.
Melissa says it was all a gas until the doc started pulling more than teeth. Once he hit 50, she says he was working out, pumping iron, and getting buff.
He became more confident and more outgoing.
Do you think he was going through a midlife crisis?
That's the only thing I could come up with.
The two had a friendly relationship, trading personal text messages during off hours. But then Melissa says it went from cordial to creepy.
He would ask me about my personal life. He would ask me how often I would have sex.
And Melissa says when she answered and implied not that often, the dentist offered this artful analogy. That's like having a Lamborghini in the garage and never driving it. And he warned his mentee, if you see my pants bulging, you'll know your clothes are too revealing. This was Melissa's standard issue scrub suit uniform, and occasionally on humid days, her lab coat was removed, revealing her 5'1" frame and a simple crew neck t-shirt.
See if this thing's working. Oh my God. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a squirter, Dale.
It seemed to us strikingly similar to this scene from the movie Horrible Bosses.
Ooh, Shabbat Shalom. Somebody's circumcised.
Did you flirt with him?
No.
So there's no attraction?
Absolutely not.
Did you do anything to lead him on?
Never.
You must have done something.
I don't know what. I showed up for work every day.
Melissa says she brushed off her boss's comments for 6 months, hoping they would stop. But things came to a head when there was an exchange during non-business hours. The dentist's wife caught them texting each other while he was on vacation and made sure it would end.
His wife came in with a purple folder and just sat it on his desk and walked out without saying anything.
Thus began a day at this dentist's office with more discomfort than a string of scheduled root canals. Talk about intervention. Dr. Knight even brought in his local pastor.
I found out later that it was his minister from church.
It's his pastor, it's you, and it's
Dr.
your boss.
Yes, the three of us sitting in an office.
Did you think, what the heck is going on?
Absolutely. I had no idea why I was in there.
And in that purple folder, a pink slip.
Dr. Knight said I couldn't work in the office because he was becoming attracted to me and not able to focus on his family and his family life.
What was your reaction to this? He can't control himself?
I instantly broke down in tears. All I remember is just sitting there and not able to get up, telling him that I love my job.
Melissa's husband rushed to the dentist's office.
I said, what's going on? Is there a mistake? He said, I've got feelings for your wife, and it's affecting my family. And he felt the best option to save his marriage was to terminate Missy, as he saw her as a threat. He told me several times that, he said, I want you to know, Steve, that your wife has done nothing wrong.
When he said he didn't feel like he could control himself and that an affair might start down the road,
What was your reaction?
I'm like, that's absurd. Why would those thoughts even cross his mind? This is my wife. Why is he thinking of her as an object? And it infuriated me.
Now, Dr. Knight offered Melissa a month's severance for 10 years of stellar work, but Melissa vowed to fight tooth and nail.
The good news for the court is this might be the easiest case that you have all year.
When we come back, how Melissa decided to retaliate in a court of law.
This was a woman who did nothing to get herself fired except, bring her breasts to work.
The dentist's surprising defense, and as an orthodontist might say, brace yourself, because you may not believe where else she took her case.
Open up and say, Melissa.
Stay with us.
"2020 continues. Once again, Paula Ferris.
Ever thought you could be too good looking for your own good? 34-year-old Melissa Nelson didn't either. But she was fired from her job as a dental assistant with a month's severance after 10 years simply because the 54-year-old dentist she worked for found her irresistibly attractive and a threat to his marriage.
I'm sure you remember the song I'm Too Sexy. Well, it seems it's actually possible to be too sexy for your job.
What was life like when you were working for him?
It was good. I was home with my kids every night. We had just bought some land and I made the first payment and lost my job 2 days later.
I've read lots of comments of people who say, good for him, at least he was honest. A lot of men would have just slept with her.
Paige Fiddler is Melissa's attorney.
I can assure you, there's about a snowball's chance in hell that would have happened.
Seeking damages and lost pay, Melissa took her cause to the Iowa District Court in August 2010 and filed a gender discrimination suit against Dr. James Knight. But the judge dismissed the case before trial.
I was hurt. I think more than anything, I was hurt.
Dr. Knight declined our repeated requests for an interview, but his attorney told ABC News she was not terminated because of her gender, but to preserve the best interest of his marriage.
We had admission after admission after admission from the defendant himself that her sex played a part in his decision.
So last December, Melissa appealed to the Iowa Supreme Court.
We are not allowed to discriminate against someone because of who God made them. Having breasts is pretty closely connected with being a woman.
But the 7 justices ruled that although the 1 month's severance was rather ungenerous, terminating an employee is okay, simply because the boss views the employee as an irresistible attraction, especially since the wife felt her marriage was threatened.
So you're responsible for your boss who can't control himself.
It's kind of what the Supreme Court has led us to believe.
I don't think the law is out of touch. I mean, this guy is a jerk, but being a jerk is not illegal.
Elia Shapiro is a senior fellow in constitutional studies at the Free Market Cato Institute.
You can fire someone for being tall, for being short, for cheering for the wrong team, for wearing the wrong color.
But you cannot be fired if you're part of a protected class, such as gender, race, or religion. Still, Shapiro says Melissa's case is not about gender.
He's a man, she's a woman, he's attracted to her. How is it not a gender issue?
She was fired because he felt that their relationship was affecting his marriage.
All he had to do was control himself. How hard could that be?
Well, he feared that if he kept her on, then he might start harassing her.
He might start harassing her? He said, how often do you have orgasms? And if you see a bulge in my pants, it's because your clothes are too tight.
Well, it's inappropriate, but she didn't complain.
The court agreed, but in the court of public opinion, the ruling surprised and stung.
Her only crime was looking too good.
Bosses can legally fire any employee they see as an irresistible attraction.
If a man is saying that a woman is so irresistible that he's afraid he will sexually offend against her, what does that say about women in the military? What does that say about equality in any workplace?
Rika Basu wrote a scathing column for Iowa's Des Moines Register, calling the 7 male justices' decision embarrassing.
I think a female justice working through her own firsthand experience and perspective would have had a different take on it.
Melissa filed yet another appeal, and in a surprise this summer, perhaps because of the public outcry.
Can I just say this dentist needs a little Novocaine in Mr. Happy?
The High Court agreed to reconsider their earlier ruling, a rare occurrence. But the same 7 justices came up with the same ruling and clarified that you can be fired because the boss's spouse views the relationship as a threat to her marriage. Melissa is out of legal options. She thinks it's laughable a jury of her peers will never get to decide if she was wronged. So, naturally, she brought her case to Comedy Central.
Melissa wants to clean teeth. She shouldn't have to worry about her boss's dirty mind. That's why I invited her to give me an oral exam in Hollywood, where women are never objectified.
This is the standard issue scrub suit and lab coat she wore to work. But this is the outfit she wore on Tosh.0.
Dancers come on the stage, open up and sing Melissa.
Good for her. I think it was her way of saying how ridiculous these allegations about her were.
He called you the best dental assistant he ever had. Why haven't you gotten back into the industry?
I think my biggest fear is trusting someone, trusting somebody that I have to work that close to. I wouldn't want to be hurt again.
So the former dental assistant traded in sunny smiles for bronzed bodies, working as the salon director at a tanning salon by day and waiting tables at a sports bar by night.
It's not an easy job. Very demanding, always on your feet.
Do you ever see Dr. Knight around town?
No. That's his lawyer. He comes in and eats at the restaurant that I work at. And I can either pick my head up and go with it, or I can walk away with my tail between my legs. I'm not going to let that happen.
So was that dentist courageous for protecting his marriage, or does she deserve her job back? Tweet me, use the hashtag ABC2020, and we'll be right back.
Next, how a teenage obsession with looks led to a big cover-up.
And I just thought to myself, get rid of mirrors.
Covering up mirrors for an entire year.
The first month of the project, it was maybe like a 50-50 shot that I had mascara on my nose.
But going without a second look, even on her wedding day, could you do it?
If you've been staying away from the mirror, giving yourself a bit of a break after those holiday meals, the get-togethers, perhaps you're onto something. Tonight, the woman who gave up looking in the mirror for an entire year. Robin Roberts with a real eye-opener.
All right, I'm gonna get up.
29-year-old Kirsten Grise is living her life mirror-free. Her mornings begin with a typical teeth brushing, but a curtain obscures the view. Makeup is applied by instinct alone.
That's pretty much it.
Driving to work requires quick glances in the mirrors, but peeking at her own face is not allowed.
I just put a Post-it note over it as a reminder.
In a world obsessed with image, Kirsten is obsessed with its opposite. She's decided not to look into a mirror, not for a day, not a month, but for an entire year.
I gotta say, it takes a little nerve. You're on national television, and you have not looked in a mirror.
I'm curious about what I look like. I have no idea what my haircut looks like.
You look great.
I'll take your word for it.
It's an unusual experiment, an attempt, she says, to save her self-esteem. She's in the process of wedding planning, the day brides hope to be at their most beautiful. But to avoid fixating on perfection, 6 months before her wedding, Kirsten launched her project, A Year Without Mirrors, now documented in her book, Mirror, Mirror, Off the Wall. For Kirsten, mirrors are a reminder of not living up to an ideal standard.
There aren't a lot of beauty role models who are above a size 4 or 6. You know, I'm roughly a size 10.
Insecurities about her appearance have plagued her since high school. when she developed an eating disorder.
I was afraid I wouldn't find someone to, love me unless I was perfect.
Then you have some real health issues because of your disorder.
Yes. I had kidney stones 5 times, and the lack of body fat started affecting my bone density. I really needed to get help because I didn't want to live like that.
With years of therapy, Kirsten successfully overcame her eating disorder. She became a PhD student in sociology. And in 2009, she met the man of her dreams, Michael. But the thrill of romance lost its luster during her wedding dress shopping, which resurrected those old anxieties.
I saw myself in the mirror and was being critical.
Some triggers were going off.
I just kind of kept coming back to obsessing about my appearance, and I thought maybe I need to change something about my environment to force me to change. And I just thought to myself, get rid of mirrors.
First step, Kirsten transformed her apartment into a mirror-free zone.
There is only one mirror, and it's in a huge box.
It wasn't really until a couple of weeks in that I started realizing, like, what have I signed on for?
The first month of the project, when I was walking out the door, it was maybe like a 50-50 shot that I had mascara on my nose.
Hold on, let me turn your chair. Thank you.
Kirsten does have help at the hair salon.
It looks great. Fabulous.
But she can't see the end result.
Can I touch it?
She says she's trained herself to avoid eye contact with her own image.
By the way, I can see myself in your sunglasses.
There are a lot of people that are saying, oh, come on, there's certain things you gotta look in the mirror to do.
I do see myself out of the corner of my eye every day because reflective surfaces are everywhere, but I don't look.
Some people would say that not looking in the mirror isn't really dealing with deep down the obvious issues that you must have. Do you feel that you're really facing them head on?
I think this is the most head-on I've ever faced them. Because I'm not looking in the mirror, I think a lot more about how I feel than how I look.
But the biggest challenge by far is the wedding day. What bride can resist the temptation to see themselves on their big day? But Kirsten was resolute. Bridesmaids scurried to shield the mirrors from her view. And while Kirsten had help with her hair,
Your hair looks really cute. Thank you.
Unbelievably, she did her own makeup.
If I feel the brush up here, it's in the right spot, bronzer down here.
Then the moment all brides dream of, the sight of their own magnificent reflection in the mirror. For Kirsten, it was a sight unseen.
I don't get that, in the mirror, I'm a bride. But I don't have any regrets about not seeing myself on my wedding day. I think I look good.
I now pronounce you husband and wife.
When the experiment finally came to an end, it had been 12 months of no reflection, which left plenty of time for reflection.
Thank you all for sharing the spirit of this event, which is about body positivity.
Surrounded by friends and family, she stands in front of a mirror covered by messages of encouragement
You're my best friend and my hero.
and sees herself for the first time in a year.
3, 2, 1. You guys look great.
She says she likes what she sees, a stronger woman with a year's worth of well-earned wisdom.
Has this process, has it helped you?
It has, it really has. It's kind of opened up a new way of thinking about myself as a whole instead of just my looks.
She says she no longer seeks the perfect image in the looking glass. Instead, she trusts another vision of herself.
Michael's my mirror because when he sees me, he doesn't think about the things he wants to change. He just sees the things that he loves. It was wonderful.
Next, move over, Charlie's Angels. There are some new angels in town.
Yes. Yes, Melissa.
But who are they going after this time?
I feel my hand going for my wallet even as you speak.
Coming up.
'Tis the season for holiday giving, so many worthy charities in this country. But what happens when there's giving fatigue? Tonight, turning not to Charlie's Angels, but to Charity's Angels. Chris Conley with the new bosses tonight saying, good morning, Angels.
Seaside Marina Del Rey, ever a magnet for LA's affluent. Ready to dress up and raise a glass on an evening out. No surprise that mingling with the well-heeled is a high-heeled gaggle of gorgeous young women, for whom this gathering of the wealthy is a target-rich environment. But they aren't looking for a hot car or a home in the hills. They're after these rich guys' wallets, not to do well, but to do good.
Make sure it's a winner.
There's Christina at the front, Kristen at the board, Lindsay too.
1 is 100, 2 for 150, or 3 for 200.
And this is a benefit for charity, so they're in sell mode.
So this is only a third of the items that are out right now.
While rocking their je ne sais quoi, nudging those once reluctant donors to hand over those precious credit cards and give till it hurts so good.
There we go.
Do they really get these attendees to dig a little deeper? Oh yeah.
Okay, 103. What in particular led you to make such a generous donation a moment ago? Sucker for a pretty face.
A trio of crusading glamour goddesses fighting for what's right. Remind you of anything? But these aren't Charlie's Angels. They're the Charity Angels. Accelerated fundraising sirens for hire, putting to work their IQs, their TLC, and their LBDs.
I don't think the approach would be quite the same if we came in some overalls and a hard hat. But it could. I mean, it might be a cute look. $15,000.
Prying open like oysters those bountiful billfolds and putting the in not-for-profit.
Thank you so much. As you can see, all of the Charity Angels are beautiful on the exterior, but they are far more beautiful on the interior than you can ever possibly imagine.
They're beautiful, they're brilliant, and they work for her.
Yes. Yes, Melissa.
Going to the Beverly Hills Hotel to raise money for the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles.
Model-turned-philanthropic powerhouse Melissa Nielsen. In 10 years, she's guided her Charity Angels concept to a $10 million gross, while amping up many benefits' bottom line.
By what percentage can you increase what they would normally make at a fundraiser?
60 to 100%.
Not 10, not 20, 60 to 100%.
60 to 100%.
So how'd you like this knowledge that she brought? Melissa pays each of her angels a flat rate of $30 an hour. She rocks 150 benefits a year.
Please, the Charity Angels are walking around right now. Open your wallets.
I don't right away ask them for their money. I want to get to know them.
Are you looking at that person
Right.
just like you're looking at me now? I feel my hand going for my wallet even as you speak.
Give me your wallet. Give me your wallet. I'll spend your money.
But don't confuse these girl I didn't know you could get down like that independent women with booth babes. Those so do you come with that car convention center cutie pies who are ogled but not heard.
No.